Retirement used to be the ultimate escape, sipping coffee in Lisbon, beach walks in Costa Rica, or sunrise meditations in Thailand. But in 2025, that dream is coming with a nasty price tag. Countries around the world are quietly slamming the financial gates shut on retirees, and if you don't have the income to prove you belong, you might find yourself shut out before you even board the plane. From Europe's golden visa havens to Southeast Asia's once affordable sanctuaries, governments are jacking up the price to stay. Why? Inflation, overcrowding, political pressure, or maybe, just maybe, they're done subsidizing Western retirees who give little and take a lot. So the question is, can you still afford to retire abroad? Or has the game changed forever? Stay with me as we count down the 10 countries that just raised their retirement visa costs and what it means for you. Number 10, Uruguay, a quiet retirement gem no longer cheap. Uruguay might not make headlines like Costa Rica or Spain, but this South American gem has quietly become a top-tier destination for retirees seeking safety, stability, and strong institutions. But in 2025, the financial bar to enter just got higher. The country has increased its minimum monthly income requirement for pensionado visa applicants from $1,500 to $1,725, a 15% hike designed to screen out retirees who can't keep up with rising domestic costs. Why the change? Uruguay is dealing with its own version of a retiree boom. With Montevideo ranking among Latin America's safest cities and coastal towns like Punta del Este seeing a surge in expat investment, demand is spiking. But so are expenses. Food prices are up, rent in expat-heavy areas has climbed by over 20% since 2022, and the healthcare system is starting to feel the pressure. Local sentiment is also shifting. There's growing resentment that retirees with low monthly incomes are contributing less than they consume, especially in healthcare and housing. Uruguay's government has responded by raising the bar, and it's not just symbolic. It's a message: we welcome you, but only if you can afford to live here without becoming a burden. And that's just the beginning. With Uruguay's left-leaning coalition under fire for overspending and budget gaps, analysts warn more visa tightening could follow. Could this be Latin America's next gated retirement economy? If Uruguay is getting expensive, what does that mean for the rest of the continent? Number 9, Mexico, the illusion of cheap paradise is cracking. Mexico's long been the gold standard for affordable retirement. But those golden days? They're slipping fast. In a move that shocked even seasoned expats, Mexico raised its temporary resident visa savings requirement from $293,000 to nearly $330,000, a 12% leap that's pricing out thousands of would-be retirees. Why the steep hike? Let's start with the basics. Inflation in Mexico has surged to over 6% in some quarters, and healthcare costs, once a fraction of the US, are ballooning. Then there's the crime factor. With cartel violence flaring up in previously safe zones like San Miguel de Allende and Lake Chapala, Mexico's trying to screen for retirees who can afford private security, upscale neighborhoods, and higher-end medical care. But there's something deeper at play: the rise of digital colonizers. Wealthy Americans are snapping up properties and driving out locals, and the backlash is real. Mexican lawmakers have quietly hinted that tightening financial requirements is a way to slow the influx without overtly banning it. It's gatekeeping disguised as economic policy. So if you thought Mexico would always be your retirement escape, think again. The door is still open, but it's guarded by a 6-figure bank balance. Will this be enough to keep the system afloat, or will the rising cost of safety make Mexico less desirable altogether? Number 8, Italy, romance and pasta, with a price hike. Italy's charm is timeless cobblestone streets, vineyard views, and cafe culture. But in 2025, you'll need more than wanderlust to live there. Italy has quietly raised its income requirement for the elective residency visa from €31,000 to €34,100, about a 10% increase. Why now? It's about economic reality. Italy's aging population is weighing heavily on its healthcare and pension systems, while inflation has pushed living costs even higher, especially in Tuscany, Rome, and coastal towns popular with expats. A cappuccino might still cost €2, but rent in Florence? That's up 18% since 2021. The Italian government is walking a tightrope. They want foreign retirees they bring capital, spend locally, and boost real estate. But they also don't want retirees who can't afford private care or rely heavily on public services. This is about curating quality over quantity. And that €34,000 bar is just the beginning. Many Italian embassies are also asking for proof of long-term accommodation, private health insurance, and even motive letters outlining your financial independence. Is Italy becoming elitist? Maybe. But the message is clear: retiring in Italy is now a luxury, not a loophole. So if you were dreaming of lazy afternoons in Umbria, better bring your portfolio. Number 7. Indonesia. Indonesia's visa updates are turning heads, and not in a good way. As of 2025, retirees applying for the popular retirement quitas must show a monthly income of around $1,700, up 15% from previous levels. For a country once hailed as Southeast Asia's budget paradise, that's a hard reality check. So what's fueling the shift? Inflation and tourism. With Bali overrun and infrastructure buckling, local leaders are tired of cheap foreigners draining resources. Healthcare costs are up, traffic is out of control, and locals are getting priced out. To combat this, Jakarta is demanding retirees show real financial heft, not just social security checks. Indonesia is also facing criticism over how unregulated retiree settlements are damaging ecosystems. From beach erosion in Lombok to overdevelopment in Ubud, the cost of low-budget expat influx is finally coming due. That $1,700 bar isn't just about money, it's about filtering for quality retirees who will invest, not just consume. But here's the kicker: with nations like Thailand and Malaysia also tightening, Indonesia was supposed to be the last affordable refuge. Not anymore. Is Southeast Asia pushing Western retirees out entirely? And if so, where will they go? Number 6. Thailand. Thailand's long been the backpacker's paradise turned retiree haven. But even that's changing. In a move that's rattled the expat community, the government has increased the minimum monthly income for the non-immigrant OA retirement visa from about $1,800 to $2,000. It's not just a number, it's a signal. Rising healthcare costs are a major driver. Thailand's once lauded medical tourism industry is now strained, with demand outpacing supply. Hospital wait times are increasing, and private clinics are raising prices. To maintain quality, the government is pushing out retirees who can't afford to keep up. Urban overcrowding is also a growing concern. Cities like Chiang Mai and Bangkok are seeing overdevelopment, traffic nightmares, and local displacement. The new income threshold is part of a broader strategy to ensure only retirees who can truly sustain themselves and ideally contribute economically are welcomed in. But critics say this is just the beginning. Rumors of further increases and even mandatory health insurance premiums and background checks are circulating. The message is chilling: we love your money, but not your problems. So if Thailand is pricing people out, what does that mean for the entire Southeast Asian retirement pipeline? Number 5. Costa Rica. Once symbolized freedom, a laid-back, low-cost paradise where Americans could retire on modest means and stretch their social security check across sunny beaches and lush cloud forests. But 2025 has brought a harsh wake-up call. The government just increased the minimum monthly income requirement for its pensionado visa from $1,000 to $2,500. That's a staggering 150% jump, instantly locking out tens of thousands of retirees. Why the drastic change? It's not just inflation, it's intentional exclusion. Costa Rica is drowning in real estate speculation, overwhelmed infrastructure, and a healthcare system bursting at the seams. Local resentment is growing, and politicians are now prioritizing high-quality migration. That means fewer retirees living on the edge of poverty and more foreigners with serious money to spend. But the backlash is real. Expat communities in San Jose and Tamarindo are reeling. Some retirees who've lived there for years on older visa terms are now being asked to prove updated income annually or face revocation. The Pura Vida lifestyle? It's starting to look more like a gated community where you pay a steep premium just to enter. Costa Rica's message is loud and clear: we're done being your budget retirement plan. And with this price surge, the country just drew a line in the sand, one that many can no longer afford to cross. Number 4. Panama. They used to be the crown jewel of retiree visas. With its famous Pensionado program, offering discounts on everything from medical bills to restaurant meals, it was practically a retirement Disneyland. But 2025 has thrown that dream into a tailspin. The country now requires proof of at least $3,000 per month in guaranteed income, up from just $1,000 a few years ago. That's a 200% increase in under 3 years. Why? Panama is playing defense. Its economic zones have been flooded with low-income retirees, putting pressure on its subsidized healthcare, utility infrastructure, and housing market. Local Panamanians are frustrated by expats who take advantage of the discount system without investing back into the country. And it's not just about raising the bar, it's about redefining the retiree class. In fact, Panama is quietly favoring investor retirees, those who buy property or open bank accounts with $200,000 plus balances. The old model of "come live cheaply" has been replaced with pay to play. Panama's shift is one of the most dramatic in Latin America. It's a country that once welcomed you with open arms, but now, those arms come with a monthly invoice. If Panama is off the table, the list of affordable options is shrinking fast. Number 3. Portugal used to be the undisputed king of European retirement. Beautiful weather, affordable living, friendly locals, and a golden visa that made it all too easy. But not anymore. In 2025, the government scrapped its golden visa real estate option, and now, it's cranking up the financial requirements for all residency categories, including retirees. Specifically, retirees seeking a D7 passive income visa must now show proof of €2,800 per month, up from just €1,200 in 2022. That's more than double in just 3 years. And in popular areas like Lisbon or the Algarve, embassies are requesting even more, closer to €3,500 per applicant. This isn't accidental. Portugal is responding to a real crisis. Housing prices have exploded, with locals pushed out of their own cities by wealthy expats and Airbnb investors. Demonstrations have swept the country, demanding government action. And now, retirees once seen as peaceful contributors are viewed by some as gentrifying invaders. The Portuguese government is under intense political pressure to restrict non-EU immigration, and these new financial thresholds are their weapon of choice. The irony? Portugal was once the sanctuary for modest-income retirees. Now, it's a luxury brand and only the elite can afford the label. Number 2. Spain. In 2025, the country raised the passive income requirement for the non-lucrative visa NLV to a jaw-dropping €3,200 per month, up from €2,400 just last year. For couples, that's over €4,400 monthly, or nearly $60,000 annually. It's one of the steepest income barriers in Europe. What happened to sunny Spain welcoming you with tapas and flamenco? Simple political backlash and economic strain. Spain's leftist government is under fire from its own voters, angry about rising rent prices, strained healthcare, and the perception that foreigners are living tax-free while locals struggle. Expats, especially retirees, are being lumped into the broader anti-tourism sentiment sweeping Barcelona, Valencia, and Andalusia. In fact, some provinces are even proposing regional visa limits for retirees, a policy first floated in 2024 and now being seriously debated. You read that right? Spain may start deciding which cities can even accept retirees and charge different thresholds depending on the region. Spain's message is blunt: we're not shutting the door, but we're raising it so high, most of you won't reach it. And if Spain is making entry a financial gauntlet, other EU countries may follow. Number 1. Malaysia. And now we come to the biggest shock of all: Malaysia. Once the darling of affordable Asian retirement, it's Malaysia. My Second Home MM2H program has undergone a complete transformation, and not for the better. In 2025, the government announced an income requirement of over $8,000 per month and a fixed deposit of $250,000 in a Malaysian bank, up from around $2,300 per month and $70,000 just a few years ago. That's not a visa hike, that's a financial guillotine. What's behind the madness? Political instability, demographic fears, and a new wave of nationalism. Officials claim they want quality participants in the MM2H program, not budget retirees. But critics argue this is just a cash grab that disproportionately benefits politically connected developers and banks. The result? Thousands of retirees, some who've lived there for decades, are being forced out. There's no grandfathering clause, no sympathy, no negotiation. Longtime expats are being asked to requalify under the new terms or leave. Malaysia isn't just raising the cost. It's flipping the entire model from welcoming haven to fortress for the ultra-rich. And the message to the average retiree? Don't come. You're not wanted anymore. What we're seeing in 2025 isn't random, it's a global shift. Countries are tightening their belts, raising their walls, and redefining what kind of retiree they want. Gone are the days where you could live out your golden years in paradise on a shoestring budget. Today, it's all about wealth filtration. If you can pay, you're in. If not, you're out. It's that simple. This is the new retirement reality. Costa Rica wants investors. Spain wants proof of elite income. Malaysia wants millionaires. So where does that leave you? Are we heading toward a world where retirement abroad becomes a luxury for the 1%? Will average Americans be priced out of peace, health, and safety in their final years? And most importantly, are you prepared for the new rules of the game? Because like it or not, the doors are closing. And your window to retire abroad may be closing with them.